Dawson Rider Review.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review for the Beast-X King Saber from Power Rangers Beast Morphers Season 2. This is one of the new weapons they get in the series. I can't remember if they got this before or after the hiatus for us in the US, but you've seen it in the trailer, so I'm sure you know about it. It's kind of in a larger, slightly larger scale line. We'll be comparing it here in a second to some other items just to see kind of a scale of it, and you can get the idea of it. And you can see it's obviously based off of the Beast-X King Zord, which is currently MIA, just like the Red Racer Zord. But so, I always liked the design of it. I thought it was pretty unique. It's not my favorite, but I thought it was pretty cool. A lot of people have pointed out now, knowing what we know, it's kind of reminiscent of one of the Ninja Steel weapons, which is kind of nice. I feel like look-wise, it sits right in between, kind of looking like a cheap, for lack of a better word, quote-unquote kitty or toy, and more of a collectible. Like the bright orange and stuff make it look a little bit cheap, but in like the yellow plastic, it seems a little cheap as well, but I think for the most part, the blue and yellow work well together. This looks simultaneously cool and cheap, this sort of orange blade here that's a little bit soft, and like you can press through it and have the two sides meet together. So it kind of looks decent, I think, for what it is, and I think this is meant to just be an absolute fun toy and not a on-the-shelf or cosplay collectible. I think it looks fine exactly for what it is. I could always, you know, have it looking a little bit nicer. That makes it sound like I was in charge of it, but you know what I mean? I would have it looking maybe a little bit closer to this show, but for the most part, it's pretty solid, and it's a decent-ish size. I don't think it's quite one-to-one scale, but it's a little bit better than some others that you've gotten in the past, you know, because it's kind of that classic, almost trope at this point of Power Rangers and Sentai weapons being small. But just for a quick size comparison, just so you get the idea, here it is next to the Cheetah Blade, which we actually never saw on the show. I thought for sure that was going to make it in there, but we didn't see it in the show, so there's an idea of the size compared to that, which is kind of a similar item where it's kind of a one-off, you know, it's got one little gimmick, not any electronics or anything like that. This is a regular Beast-X Saber Halloween toy, so that's kind of, this is more close to what the size of the Saber is in the show, so there's an idea there. And then just a quick comparison to the other, thanks, spoiler alert, this is the Beast-X King, or not the Beast-X King, the Beast-X Saber, the electronic version. So it's kind of much more along that scale right there, you can see. In fact, it's basically the exact same scale, except the Beast-X Saber is a little bit more slanted. Hey-o! So now that that's out of the way, we can talk about what this thing does. And honestly, it's not a whole lot, but I think it's pretty fun. So basically, first thing is just press this giant orange button, and these will furl out, and then that'll loosen up. Thanks again, spoiler alert. And then you can just press them down and press them back up, and that'll pop out. But the main gimmick, as you can see, is when you press this, the blade will become loose, so you can spin it around like a windmill. So I'm going to sort of cut away to some footage of me spinning it, since this area you're not able to get it much. But as you can see, like, it spins around here like this, and I'll cut away in just a second to some footage. But it spins around, and then when you let go of this, it'll lock it back into place. Obviously, if you let go here, it's not going to lock it really back into place. But if you kind of time it right, and when you're spinning it, and you lock it back into place, it'll lock like that. And honestly, that's really fun and satisfying. It's a very basic toy. You know, that's really its one trick. It's like 1.5 tricks. It spins, and then the little mane comes out. But for what it is, I think kids especially will get a kick out of this. But honestly, I've had fun just playing with this thing. It's kind of like an automated version of, you know, everyone's had like a sword toy, and they've kind of spun it in their hand like they were doing a cool trick. But this like actually just does it for you, and it feels very satisfying and cool. And I get a kick out of it. I think it's fun and simple for what it is. This certainly isn't Toy of the Year, but for being just this basic thing, I enjoyed it more than I thought. And I think, like I said, kids will certainly get a kick out of it. So if you have a kid, I definitely recommend checking this out. I think it would be a fun one for a Power Rangers fan. But even for adult collectors who like to collect all the weapons from the show, I can recommend at least giving this a look. It's not that bad looking, and honestly, it's just kind of fun to mess around with. But just for being really basic and only having one gimmick, it's fairly fun for that. But that's about it for this one, guys. Until next time, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications from my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.